Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick video of the T14R Panther, 14 scale, the track dumper. Anywho, I took mine apart, the one I've been testing and the one I built. So there's a couple things missing, like the handle and then the bottom of the chassis here, where the wires go. Anyways, what we'll do is we'll kind of start with all this. My bolts and stuff are a little rusty. I use black oxide. But anywho, the tracks are TPU, or made of TPU. You can see I printed these in 0.3 because 0.2 was about, I don't know, a little over 24 hours, and this was about 13, 14 hours. But anyways, I didn't like how it came out, but for testing it's nice. But anyways, you can see this inside layer didn't really stick. But anyhow, you can see the tread is quite thick, pretty thick, and then the belt is actually 4 millimeters thick, and it's got the these look like teeth on the inside, but I believe on the real model, I believe these are meant to help clean the gears. The drive gear and then the rollers. I'm not sure, but anyways, you can see the teeth actually are on the inside, and it holds up pretty well. It's still really flexible, so it can really form over rocks and any terrain really. But you'll see that the rollers and the rockers have bearings, and then a nut, gosh, blurry, and then a lock nut on each side. Again, they're a little dirty. I've been running through mud and my prints. Again, I was rushing through these prints to try and test all this, but anyways, everything has bearings. These are the little idlers. They sit on top. When you first build this, you'll notice that the tracks are a little tight. They actually don't touch this, but over time the tracks stretch slightly, and it allows for the belt to sag like the real model, and then it starts to touch that. My paint job is still not done. This was the top part of the cab, but anyways, you'll see this is the main upper chassis, and right here I had cut mine for the wires to go through, but in the model that you guys would be printing, there's a channel here for the wiring, and then I updated this back here to allow for more swing, and then this is where your N20s would mount, or excuse me, your actuators, and then this is the pivot for the dump bed. And this is like a little grab hook. I think it's like a toe shackle or just anything that you can kind of tie something down to. On the original model, I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know how strong it is, the way that this was printed. I may have to remodel this and make it to where these actually bolt in. That way it lays flat. I haven't had any problems with it, but just be careful when you're mounting this. Make sure that the dump bed is slides in and out really nicely, and you don't want to like pivot the dump bed when you're getting it in, because you could break these. If you guys have any issues with these, let me know. We could I'm probably just going to redesign these just because, but anyways, and then you can see the geared motor for the pivot or the rotation sits right here. Here's your ring gear. This was for mounting. These holes are for the cabin and the other details up top. One thing I also wanted to show you guys is kind of hard to show you with the camera, but this is actually 2 pieces. With the model for smaller build plates is 3 pieces, but it's still going to be the same thing. There's going to be three three bolts that go right here, and these are actually regular. See if I can get some better light. So regular M3s, socket head, with regular thread, fine thread. I couldn't find any long plastic ones. I'm sure they're out there, but I have a bunch of these, and then these ones actually go in kind of sideways at an angle. See if I can kind of show you this way. They go like this. You can, looks like you can kind of see one of them. Anyways, you can see it goes this way, both ways, and then there's a 1/4 inch rod. Starts from about right here and goes all the way up to there, because the dump bed actually pivots on just this single point, and then the actuators mount right here. Quite interesting design, but anyways, all the weight gets put right here when you're dumping it, and the 1/4 inch actually really helps a lot. And I think it's really taking all the brunt of everything. Anyways, it doesn't flex at all. I didn't notice it flexing. It may flex somewhat, but as does the real one. So anyways, so we'll go ahead and we'll move to the electronics here in a bit, but this is the undercarriage, and I have it taped up because I reprinted these two parts, these two, and then I actually reprinted this whole thing was reprinted actually. So what I did here is all these holes are 4 millimeters, so you would just use your regular M5 bolts, and then give yourself a little push and then it'll thread into here. But I made a boo-boo and I messed up, and what I did is I drilled these out to 5 mil like a dum-dum. So anyways, I have these little inserts that you can use your soldering iron, and you can push them in, and then they kind of heat up, and then when they dry, they're actually pretty good, or when they cool down, they're pretty solid in there. But anyways, if you make boo-boos, you can get those and use those. I don't really know what they're called. I call them nutsert thingy-majiggers that you heat into it, but anyways, I had to do it there as well. I think I had to do it on both sides. Yeah, so on the original model, it's going to be just like this. Oh no, I didn't do this one. This one gets it through one of those rods. So anyways, in the instructions you'll see hopefully a little bit more detail. I think I added that, but anyways, you have your geared motors down here, and then we can talk about this little channel right here actually gets filled. I'm printing the piece now. I already uploaded it to Colts, but anyways, what happens is you get this bolt right here, and it actually has a hole through it. You can see, yada yada yada. Anyways, and that is actually what holds it all together. Because you're not digging, you're not doing anything. This, in theory, doesn't need to be, something like an excavator where it needs like a bearing and, this whole setup underneath. So anyways, this has done pretty well, and I've used this thing quite a bit now, and yeah, I haven't had any problems with it. So it may be smart to actually add a washer for down here, because this is actually this spins within this, because I can't spin from up top, because what I had to do is I actually had to cut it. Yeah, not cut it, but grind it down on one side so it kind of fits, and I'll show you guys when I do the actual put this back together, how that works. But anyways, and you can see all these are regular M3s. In the parts list, I got M3 self tappers for you guys to install all these, and that's just going to help a lot more. These unfortunately have to be regular M3s because this is quite long, or it's quite tall. So, and you can kind of see I actually had to make a little spacer for mine, because again, I wanted to make sure that this was tested and ran properly and stuff before I put it up on Colts, and I was a little excited to play with it. So anyways, my original one needed to be 5 mil higher, so I updated that in Colts as well, so that'll be one single piece. And then you'll notice that there's two pieces for the long part of the chassis. I split it up into 3 for Colts, or excuse me, for the smaller printers. It gets split right here, so then there'd be one part there, one part here, and one part here. So anyways, you'll notice that that on the back kind of has a slot right here instead of just a regular hole for the back axle. So what that's for is this actually sits. This sits inside of here. Well, let me show you this. The axle. So in the instructions, it says to use rod, but what I found is like these bolts are a little better. They're threaded in slightly. They actually will slide if I push on them, but once the rod goes through here, they can't go down anymore. So anyways, what happens is there's two, one on each side, those springs, and then what happens is this goes, the heads of the bolts go down into here, if I can get it in there straight, and then you can see that allows it to move. And that just gives you, in reality, these things aren't really meant to, in real life, they don't move like this. Per se, what happens is when they need to change the belt, they loosen there's a cylinder right here on the outside, and not loosen the cylinder, but they release the pressure, and then what happens is it comes from right here to down on each side, so they can remove the tracks. But in our case, we don't necessarily need that. And what I try to utilize is to make the tracks a little easier to get on, and then also account for, mud and rocks or anything that can get inside. So anyways, that gives you a little bit. When you'll notice when you get it together, there's really not much play in there, which is fine, because again, you don't need it. The tracks are already flexible. So anyways, so that's that. I thought that was kind of cool how that worked out. And anyways, and you'll notice that in the build video, I won't necessarily be putting all this together. I'll show you guys what screws go where, and on both of these pieces. I don't really want to take it apart. The one thing about using the regular threaded screws inside of the plastic is they work great for the first time, but if you have to take the pieces apart put it together, take it apart, put it together, take it apart, the threads, the fine threads don't really grab as much as they would have if it was just put together and then stay stuck that way. So if you're using plastics or the plastic screws, the self tappers, it'll work out just as well, so it won't matter. But with what I'm doing here, I'm just going to go ahead and keep it all together. And then you'll see, we'll go ahead and move on to the details. So this is going to be the battery compartment. This is technically going to be your, I guess the engine bay is back here more, the engine. And then this would be where everything else is, the electronics, the hydraulics, the pump, the valves, things like that. But anyways, what I did here is we utilized it's quite big. You can see that that you can get a massive, absolutely behemoth of a battery in here if you'd like. This is an 8000 3-cell, and it will it'll go right in there, and there's still plenty of room to spare. So no electronics go in here. All the electronics sit in the other bay, this bay right here. So anyways, but what I've done is I've created this actually is supposed to be a door. This right here is supposed to be a hinge door, but for the sake of simplicity, what I did is I created just a grill. This is printed in silver PLA. And then what I did is on mine is there's just a screw here, but on the model the real model doesn't have anything. I'm sure it has like a little handle or something, or a little, maybe a knob. But what mine, this one is just gonna have a bulky handle. If you guys don't like that, I don't really like it. I think it's kind of silly. I don't mind the screw right here. You guys can do something like that, but the screw holes are actually here. You can see that they're actually countersunk. What it's going to be for is you'd use the screw, countersink it, and I know it's not really going into anything, but what that's for is This one doesn't have it, but on the model you guys are printing, there's going to be some circles right here, some little inserts that, or a spot for an insert, which you would put a 4mm magnet on the upper and the bottom, and then the screw. Hopefully they're they're not really, 100% steel. Usually they're probably like a 40-60. I don't know what the ratio is, but they're not all steel. It's going to be like, a mixture of it. Anyways, those should be strong enough to actually be able to grab that, the door, and then you can see. You might have to sand this. Another reason why I didn't paint this is because when you paint this this thing, the doors start to not fit. But anyways, mine kind of just pushes in there, and then you can see it's quite nice. And that's what I like to do. And then I just use the little screw right here just to pull it off. I don't mind all that. If you guys don't want to use the magnets, you want to just do what I did, you can definitely do something like that. And then you'll notice that the mirror folds in and out. I did that at the real one looked like it did that. Also, the mirror kept breaking with the printed rod that went through here. I mean, naturally it's gonna do that. But also, I have dogs, and they keep they like to run past this, and when I'm playing with it, and they broke it off. But anyway, so what I did is I just put a bolt, M3 bolt. I just drilled this out, the mirror part. There's a hole here. I drilled that out to the 2.5, and then I think it's 2.5 already. But anyways, and then I just drilled the mirror bracket right here to 3mm, and then screwed it in, and then kind of left it loose so it has the ability to spin. But yeah, you can see it swivels. And then so on this model, one more thing, this door as well comes out. My paint job is terrible, so I'm probably going to end up redoing it, but you'll see it just kind of in there. I haven't really decided if I wanted to maybe do anything with that, but maybe you guys can get creative and use this door, maybe put like a handle, or I don't know, something right here to where, or if you guys have any ideas, let me know. I can remodel it or add some things to it to where maybe we can have it open, and then the on-off switch can be in there. But to be honest, I don't really care for on-off switches. I always forget about them and leave the battery plugged in, and then my LiPo goes bad. So anyways, I try to not put on-off switches in there. So and then this is going to be the gas tank. This has nothing to do with there's no use for this. It just kind of sits there. I guess it adds a little bit of room behind here, behind this area, and then for the engine bay. But anyways, you'll notice there's the cutout here for the slip ring. So on this one that I printed, it's actually the new one. It goes up a little bit higher, and the slip ring sticks out right here. So there's a slot in the dump bed that you would that would allow for the dump bed to lay all the way down in the slip ring. So the only bad part is the slip ring kind of has to stick out, but you won't see it unless the dump bed is up. And even then, you can kind of just paint it and do that. On how I have mine set up is the slip ring. It was just inside the cab, so I did notice that it was coiling up, but naturally the slip ring's eventually gonna want to turn. So it was turning. It just the wires were coiled up. But anyways, I redesigned that, and then we'll move on to the cab. So I like how this came out. It is 3 pieces. You'll see up here the sides are 1 piece each, and then the main portion is 1 piece. And what I did is I printed it like this, without the sides obviously, and then that allowed for just support on the window areas, and I tried to minimize it. And then the interior is all multiple pieces as well. On this, you could glue your steering wheel in. I don't know why you wouldn't, but I didn't, and for some reason I thought it was kind of funny that it still turns and all that. So you may have to drill out some of these holes and all that good stuff. But and then if you want to get detailed, there's some buttons and stuff in here. My print didn't really come out too great, but it came out okay. But yeah, you can add some colors in there. There's a little screen, there's another screen over here, and then on the model that you guys are printing, this actually moves up and down. Make it easier to get a brooder guy in there or whatnot. So, and then the seat, just to make it kind of easier to paint, or if you guys wanted to print this in like a silver or maybe like a blue or whatever color you guys wanted, you can definitely print the seat in whatever color you want, and maybe print this in black and all that good stuff. But anyways, the window wiper, if you wanted to mess around with that, you could do that. This mirror, on your guys' piece, this mount actually has a cut on this side, so you can kind of clip it. You may have to grind that, not grind, but file that down a little bit so you can get it on. But I would definitely, I'd glue it. I don't know if you'd glue it. I had to cut mine right here, which I didn't really care to do. It didn't matter to me, but you can see I used like some dikes, and it made it weird. Yeah, it made it weird looking, so what I ended up doing is just gluing it. If you guys cut it real nice, it would actually probably work real well, but anyways, and then I just slid this piece up in there. But to be honest, if you just did it, if you made it to where this piece kind of just slid in nice and snug, you can have it turn, not like I did mine, because mine, the whole thing turns. But anyways, then this moves. This actually comes off kind of easy, so when you paint this part, you can probably get it in there. If you guys have any issues with any of these details, let me know, and then it would help out a lot, getting like an outside perspective. And a few people, quite a few people have bought the model and Colts. I just haven't heard anything back as far as what anybody else has experienced, besides some of my buddies that are building them and messing with them. So anyways, paint job not the best again. I tried to do the best I could and get this thing built as quick as possible, but yeah, on the next one, on the updated one, I'll do that. And then the mount back here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this little for the wire, because what I had to do is cut mine, and I don't want to have to do that again. I cut it and soldered these little guys, and that was a pain in the booty. So anyways, I'm gonna make a slot so the wire just kind of goes in there, but you'll see it's like it's bolted in, and then this bracket right here is bolted into the frame, so all the bolts and such. So there's that, and then this is the electronics bay, the exhaust stack, gets bolted in from the back. Forgot to mention that gets bolted in right here, and then one underneath on the front, and that goes to the chassis. This gets bolted in on the frame. Okay, lastly, sorry about the long video, but this is the battery that I'm going to be using most of the time. I use this battery as well in my dozer, but I also use that when I'm not making videos, just so I don't have to change it. But anyways, this one works well. Man, I haven't had to change this yet, and I've probably played with this for over an hour. But anyways, so electronics, I'm using the basic $15 receiver, super basic, but it gets the job done and does really, really well. Sorry about all the hot glue. I've been these have been used for years and years. I think I've had these since 2017. And then you can see that the resistors on these, or capacitors, are black. The new ones are actually are green. Anyways, I haven't had any problems with those ones as well, but again, I like to reuse all my stuff, or I used to do a lot of brooder conversions, so I have a bunch of these. Anyways, so these are all just regular, they say 10 amp ESCs, but I believe they're rated up to 30 amp if you need it, but there's no way you're gonna ever need any of that. I think these draw max 7 amp. These are probably not even an amp. Anyways, I have 4 here. What I ended up doing is these come with these plugs for the motor, and then it has this one, the bigger portion, the female version, for the battery. So I just cut the battery one off, because you're gonna link all them up on one wire anyway, or excuse me, to I guess you would call it a pigtail to your battery connector. So anyways, I soldered the female end to where my motors would go. So you can see on this motor is the female, and then this one as well, which these are wide together. But yeah, anyways, they all kind of go in, and make sure that you guys go through and only one of the ESCs is powering the receiver. If you this receiver won't get fried if you do this, but what'll happen is these will get fried. You'll get like feedback going back into the receiver, and then it'll act weird, and then you could fry one of these. I've fried these little, I think these are MOSFETs. These little freaking guys, they'll get so freaking hot, it'll start to smoke, and then it'll burn a hole in this wrap. But anyways, you wouldn't even, it still, everything runs and everything, and it seems fine, but it happens so quick. But anyways, it's very, very important that you take, within this case, I took 3 of them off and then left one. And I think it's on, yeah, this guy. Whatever one that one is. It doesn't matter. You could choose any of them. It doesn't matter which one. Just make sure you get one of them. And then the other 3 just, I didn't cut. What I did is there's a little pin here. Hold on. Okay. So what I did is, you can see, gosh, if I can get a good picture. So there's that little tab right there. Oh, can I get it? Hopefully there's other videos on this. I know there will be, but you can see the tab. I kind of lifted it up, but I used like some tweezers. But anyways, you would lift that up, and then you can pull that wire out. And then just push that tab down, and then I use some heat shrink to cover it, just in case the other 2, they want to make contact and whatnot. So if you guys have any other questions about that or anything, just you can go on Facebook and post it in the group, or message me, or whatever it is. And then the actuators, make sure they're fully closed when you paint them, because I did not, and you can see that the paint started to come off. And then lastly, so how this gear works is when you, so it might be a little difficult. It might not want to just slide on. How I tried to make it work is, you press it on, and you're gonna leave yourself a little gap. It doesn't really matter if there is a gap or not, it still make contact. And I made sure that I used like a piece of metal or something to keep it there, give myself a little bit of distance. It's about 3 mil. But anyways, and then you push it on. You can make it flush to the top here, and it's actually just pressed on. Oh, this one actually slides on pretty good. Never mind, I didn't really press it. I guess I had to clean it up. But anyways, it just goes on. If you guys want, you can add some. I don't think you need anything, because it can't, when it gets inside the ring, it can't slide down because it'll hit the plastic. And then, but anyways, I haven't had any issues with it. If we put a set screw in there, it really makes the integrity of the gear bad. But anyways, I thought if you guys have any issues with that, let me know. My print came out really terrible. I was using one of my older printers, because the big one was Occupado. But yeah, it still works. It works great. I'd show you guys. I guess I could show you guys. This one came out pretty good. I taped it up to paint it. Yeah, that one came out good. I just don't want to get any of the paint on it when I go to paint all this. So, anyways. All right. So there we are. If you guys have any other questions or anything, feel free to reach out, and we'll go ahead and get started on the build video. Oh, forgot to bring out the dump bed, but so anyways, this is the dump bed. You'll notice I had to, on mine, I had to grind these down, and the one you guys are printing, this is already done, or remodeled. So anyways, we'll talk about how it was built when I do the build video. But this was 1, 2, 3 pieces for the bottom, 2 pieces for the side, and then I printed mine in 2 pieces for time's sake. But there's both STLs inside the folder for 2 pieces or 1, if you guys don't mind, supports and all that. But anyways, this is it's pretty sturdy. Came out really good. I think it's strong. The only thing that I might have issues with, again, just like the frame, is these. I haven't had issues with them, but in the past, modeling things that get printed upwards as opposed to flat, they have the tendency to break if there's not enough. Now, I'm not sure if there will be enough. Again, I haven't had any issues, but some of the beginners might have some issues. But anyways, if you guys do, we'll end up cutting these out, not cutting them in real life, but in the model, I'll end up cutting them out, and then we'll actually end up screwing them in from the other side. The same with these if we have any issues. And what I was talking about earlier was this right here. You don't need to worry about the ones in the front too much, because those get these actuators. But anyways, this part right here, sorry about the wire, hopefully I don't break it, but yeah, you can see, you want to get it in there like that. And if you don't want to like try and get it in sideways or try and turn it this way like this, because then that's what's going to really break them. But anyways, once you get it together, it's nice and solid. But anyways, just handle it with nice and with care, I guess you could say. All right, build video.